Survivor. Basically, this game's about is where you have to hack computers and then you win. But the beast has to try killing you before you do that. You have to escape. That's terrifying. No, you can't squeeze it back. Probably should go see my teammate. Gray probably don't want to get stuck in there, but go see her. At least I got a camera now. I'm just borrowing it from my brother's. Everything's doing thing. I'm gonna mess up because if I do, I'm dead meat. Ooh, after this, I could watch it. Kitty. Probably about 10, 20 something milliseconds, so I got a few minutes. She's dead, I knew it. She was gonna die. Got this. From the top, make it drop. That's a one.
this.
Obviously, the first one's probably gonna pop up. Okay. Yep. That go down though. I'm gonna move it over here again.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Basket Case 2, released in 1990. Basket Case 2 picks up right after the first film ended, with Dwayne and Belial Bradley somehow surviving their fall from the third floor of the Hotel Broslin. Of course, the film was made 8 years after the original, so you'll just have to suspend your disbelief whenever this 36-year-old Kevin Van Hentenryck pretends like he's the same fresh-faced 28-year-old we watched try to eat a woman's face off. Despite the cult success of Basket Case on the midnight movie circuit, and with grindhouse aficionados like Joe Bob Briggs, Frank Henenlotter was reluctant to make a sequel, since that's just not the kind of guy he is.
And I already made it. Didn't want to make another one.
By time producer Jim Glickenhaus convinced him to bring back Belial, he decided he would only do it if it were a completely different kind of film, which kind of reminds me of Tobe Hooper's approach to Texas Chainsaw 2. And so Basket Case 2 is not some gritty Skid Row adventure, but rather a bigger budget Staten Island story with a mansion full of monsters. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. They're not monsters. They're unique individuals. And there's a whole effing bunch of them, all being taken care of by newcomer to the series, Granny Ruth, who's played by Annie Ross, who was not only an actor, but also a jazz singer who lived to be just shy of 90, and whose Wikipedia article is riddled with tales of affairs with musicians and Lenny Bruce. Love me a saucy lady like that. Though it doesn't quite capture my heart the same way its predecessor did, Basket Case 2 still has plenty to enjoy, and plenty for YouTube to get upset about, which is why I've got a sponsor today. Raycon earbuds are stylish and wireless, and start at about half the price of other premium earbuds on the market. With their seamless Bluetooth pairing and snug fit, seriously, check this out. They ain't going anywhere! They make for an excellent holiday purchase, since they're something people can use every day as they go about their business. For a limited time only, you can get 20% off your Raycon purchase by going to buyraycon.com/deadmeat. There's only one. The movie begins with a recap. Remember this shit? Great! Bet you don't remember this title card though, because it's a new one. Dripback! A woman named Granny Ruth and her granddaughter Susan watch the news together, where a broadcaster, who may or may not have a plate in her head, reports on the Bradley brothers accident.
The little guy was Dwayne's brother. Do you believe that shit, man?
Love me a Casey cameo. Granny Ruth, away! At the hospital, we see that the Bradleys have survived, both the bandaged up Dwayne and the fantastic looking Belial. Wow, buddy, look at what a little money can do for you. You've become so articulate. I mean in the points of way. Still not the best talker. His commotion is enough to wake Dwayne up though, and on their way out the hospital, Belial kills a guard by strangling him against the wall. Yeah, give us a close-up on that beautiful boy. I'm so happy for you, B. Dwayne takes his lumpy brother and dresses up like a wet bandit to escape, and no sooner are they outside than a van pulls up with a granny popping out of it. Ruth tells Dwayne she knew his aunt and wants to help him and Belial. Not having any better options, Dwayne loads up Belial and hops into the back. Now punch it, Grandma! Yahoo! Dwayne finds himself recovering in Granny Ruth's bed, getting blurry glimpses of a bunch of new pals. But he's having a hard time staying awake, so Granny Ruth checks in on his brother, if she could only find the little box dweller. She calls out to him and says that their aunt once reached out to her for help, since she runs a sanctuary for people like Belial. That kind of inclusive talk gets him to show his pretty face. Ruth tells Belial he can live here as long as he becomes part of their community, and she knows how to sweeten the pot too.
Now I understand you feel comfortable sleeping in a basket.
Well, sure. I mean, who doesn't? Not sure what that has to do with— Whoa, a basket! Lady, you got yourself a deal! With the terms and conditions agreed upon, it's time for Belial to meet the rest of Granny Ruth's charges.
Children, we have a new member of our community.
She brings up the basket and calls everyone forth, giving us our first good look at Granny Ruth's unique individuals. There's one named Lorenzo that can sing. Dai campi, dai prate. A lady with a big old fossil head named Elise, a stylish, anxious boy named Frederick, and perhaps most interesting to Belial, a lumpy lady named Eve, who's been silent since she arrived here a year ago.
She seems to be so withdrawn into her own private world.
Yeah, this movie's not one for subtlety. Belial and these sexy eyes gonna fuck. The unique individuals in Granny Ruth's home were designed and created by Gabe Bartalos, an effects artist who was responsible for the leprechaun makeup in all 6 of the Warwick Davis films. Bartalos and Henenlotter worked together to create a whole host of characters, intentionally avoiding any kind of real-life abnormalities.
We went out of our way not to have any freak that resembled a human deformity. We made these cartoon freaks.
He really stressed to me, let's not make this mean-spirited and let's not bring it too close to home.
Bartalos also had the pleasure of redesigning Belial with the film's much bigger budget, $1.5 million as opposed to the original's $35,000. That's how we ended up with this awesome Belial animatronic, which replaces Henenlotter's homemade stop-motion effects. It's great that they had so much money to play around with for this film, even if it did come with some strings attached.
We had guys in suits standing around telling us we weren't going fast enough.
Months later, a reporter named Marcy is assigned to write a story about where the Bradley brothers went. Though nobody knows where they are, her boss suggests she track down Granny Ruth, who they know by a much more derisive name.
Dr. Freak.
Dr. Freak?
Gave birth to a boy with 11 arms. The kid died, but it made her sort of a missionary for freaks' rights.
In her businesswoman Barbie dollhouse, Marcy calls up a dude named Lyle Barker who runs a classic-style so-called freak show, and in fact claims to have Belial there as his latest addition. She says she's on her way, but before she can get there, Granny Ruth shows up at Barker's door, following his advertisement claiming to have Belial. He takes her out to his backyard, where he's got a whole damn circus tent set up, filled with fake exhibits of mermaids and aliens. When he gets to Belial's supposed bones, Granny Ruth calls him out as an exploitative carny.
Trash, lowlife, scum!
She brings in a basket and leaves it with Mr. Barker, and since he never watched the original film, he unwisely opens its lid. By time Marcy arrives, hoping for a Belial lead, Barker is dead inside the fish tank he was using for his fake mermaid. Hey, don't give me none of that, dude. Do you see the graphics on screen? You're dead. Belial has a therapy session with Granny Ruth, where she tells him that she understands his identity issues, but that he should maybe consider finding a different way to cope with them.
Ripping the faces off people may not be in your best interest.
You should probably take her advice, B. Granny Ruth's Staten Island mansion is full of unique individuals, and they all seem to be doing well. Hell, that dude's reading Stephen Hawking. In a bizarre casting fun fact, that crescent moon dude, oddly named Half Moon, is played by David Emge, who is one of the 4 leads in Dawn of the Friggin' Dead. Mostly recovered now, Dwayne talks to Susan and says that he can't really relate to the other individuals here, but he can relate to her because she's a pretty lady.
God, wouldn't that be great? You and I just running away someplace.
Susan says, nah man, they both do belong here, no matter how normal they may appear compared to folks like Mousy or Frederick. You can't forget where you came from, Dwayne.
It's not who I am now.
If you say so. Dwayne tells Ruth that he's grateful for her help, but that he doesn't belong here and wants to leave. He pops into the attic to break the news to Belial and is pointed in the right direction by a dude with 27 noses. Yep, Belial's just past the Brainiac in the corner and the chop-top looking dude at the oxygen bar. He's chilling in his basket next to Eve, lovingly stroking her hand, cause later, them two gonna fuck. Dwayne takes Belial outside, past the gargoyle guy with the whooping laughter, and into a shed. He says he wants to leave Belial at Granny Ruth's and run off with Susan to start a new life. But when he declares his love for Susan, Belial responds in the scariest way I've ever seen. Dear God, that is awful. Why is your face a real face all of a sudden, man? Stop! Marcy the reporter tracks down Granny Ruth with the help of a tabloid photographer named Artie, played by Matt Mittler, who was Ed Jr. in everyone's favorite seaside slasher, The Mutilator. Granny Ruth tells Marcy that she's a hack who can kindly fuck off, but on her way out the door, they run into Dwayne. Quick, dude, create a cover before Marcy figures out who you are.
I got those groceries you wanted. In there?
Whew, good job, man. I think you're safe.
Bradley's in there. He's in there.
Damn it, Dwayne. Ruth tells Dwayne that when Marcy comes back looking for him, she'll find and expose all the other unique individuals too. Despite wanting to leave, Dwayne promises to stay and fight for them.
I won't leave until you, Susan, and the others are safe.
And so that night, Granny Ruth puts on her best evangelical frock and ascends up an elevator into the attic, where her congregation of unique individuals are waiting for her words.
The wolves are once again at our door.
Annie Ross gives a great monologue rallying her troops in a long, unbroken take as the camera, operated by an energetic John Sasenko, moves throughout the crowd.
Our sanctuary here has been violated.
Monster Mothma here gets everyone excited and fist-pumping to fight, including this one dude who doesn't get the memo when they're done. That's okay, guy, you're just excited. Everyone is, even Frog Boy there, who's played by a guy named Tom Franco, but I don't know if it's actually the middle brother of James and Dave. That Tom Franco would have been 9 years old at the time, and that doesn't seem right. After seeing Granny Ruth and Susan leave, Marcy sends Artie towards the house, hoping that a picture of the Bradley Bros will make for a big story. He sneaks inside and snaps a picture of Dwayne, then decides to head into the attic for the money shot of Belial. Flashing lights warning, y'all, because after Artie gets into the attic, he lights the dark interior with his camera flash, then uses the strobing light to watch as an army of unique individuals approach him, looking like they're raving at a nightclub. Dude, just climb back out of the attic, you dingus. Instead, Artie stands frozen in place as Belial crawls towards him and yoinks him up into the attic. Another feller keeps the strobing lights going while Belial kills Artie with the usual generic mauling. Just, you know, a lot of hand-on face rubbing and fake blood. Marcy sees it from outside until the attack ends with Artie's off-screen death and all the lights in the house go off. Marcy goes to see Phil, a private investigator played by Ted Sorrell of From Beyond fame. He's familiar with Granny Ruth, having dealt with her in the past, so he calls up her place and demands to speak to Dwayne. Threatening to bring the police to Granny Ruth's mansion, Phil gets Dwayne to agree to meet with him. Dwayne picks a bar and Phil arrives in the most film noir way he can manage. He sits down with Dwayne and says that he wants his brother Belial, I don't know why exactly, maybe reward money or something? But he makes a misstep when he tries to appeal to Dwayne's normality.
Are you and I considered normal in here? Do we look like we fit in?
Of course we do.
You sure about that, Phil? Because underneath that mask, the bartender's got some nasty face worms, and his patrons at the bar are looking more like him than you. God, nose guy, you need to bring more tissues with you, okay? And Frederick, that mask doesn't even begin to cover your face. Phil takes out a gun and tries to leave quietly, but the unique individuals back him into a storage room, where he stumbles upon the body of a dude with his face ripped apart by Belial. Was this guy the former bartender? Not sure. Belial attacks Phil and knocks him into the most interesting trash in the world, and though Phil tries to fight back and even gets some shots off, Belial overcomes him in the end, tearing at his face and throwing him through the door to finish off the kill. The unique individuals all hightail it out of the bar and hop into Granny Ruth's van, while Susan learns Marcy's home address from Phil's wallet. Granny and her gang, away! Marcy's fresh out the shower in her Flushing apartment when she finds her window broken and her phone line cut. Looks like it was Dwayne, who's here with his basket.
He wants to grant you an interview. A personal interview.
But since she can't interview air, Marcy flees from Dwayne to look for other subjects. Oh, hey, why not a piece on Frederick, Frogboy, and Wormface Dude? Marcy finds unique individuals all over her frickin' apartment, hanging out in her kitchen and climbing through the window. She tries to project strength with the assistance of a kitchen knife, but then Dwayne asks an ancient riddle passed down through his family from the old country.
What's in the basket?
And she just has to find out. Belial rides around on her chest for a while, ripping away at her face as his audience of individuals watches, before finishing his workup on the floor.
Gee, Marcy, you should see yourself. You're a freak now, too.
Yep, just like in Freaks, Marcy is not killed, but left to be one of them. Though that still doesn't get her invited to the cookout, which is really a shame for her. It's the best place to get yourself a free close-up. Seriously, I think every single unique individual here gets a close-up. I don't really mind though. Might as well show off those effects. Also, if you notice the proliferation of Jolt Cola all over this movie, it's because Henenlotter drank so much of it on set that they ended up becoming a sponsor of the film.
I mean, no human being should be taking this, and I'm just downing it because I had to stay awake.
Dude needed to stay awake somehow. He and this crew basically shot Basket Case 2 and Frankenhooker at the same time. A double production like that's gonna require some energy.
I have never in my life seen so many fucking cans of Jolt Cola as I did on that set. And I think at a certain point, all of us became addicted to that crap.
As the others chow down, Susan goes inside to check on Dwayne. Wouldn't want him sitting on beds all weird or anything. Damn it, Dwayne. He tells her he has to be with her, because he real obsessive like that, then goes for a kiss, only to have it telepathically interrupted. But this time, it's not because Belial's angry, it's because him and Eve are finally about to fuck. Listen, I warned you all. Don't act like I didn't. In a scene that somehow combines the discomfort of the Bride of Chucky sex scene with the disgust of the shunting from society, Belial and Eve make love while Dwayne moves in on Susan.
I love you, Susan. I love you.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, no, what? Oh, man, forget what I said about giving you all a warning. There is no way to prepare you for this. And there's no preparing Dwayne for what Susan says next.
I'm pregnant. I've been pregnant for the past 6 years.
Yeah, check it out, dude. She got a piranha peed in her belly. Ain't he a cutie? Dwayne doesn't think so and starts freaking out, and though Susan tries to calm him down, he's just too upset. But I mean, you would be too if you were telepathically linked to this. Dwayne ends up accidentally pushing Susan out the window, causing her to fall through the air and crash the picnic. She's killed on impact, which also kills the party. Good going, Dwayne. Though Ruth may be used to mamas thrown from trains, she's not exactly fond of granddaughters thrown from windows. So she tells the grieving individuals to go find Dwayne, who seems to have totally snapped by now.
I know how to make things right.
His plan to make things right begins with a bat to Belial's head. As the individuals form a very ineffective search party, y'all actually have to look, you know, not just panic. Dwayne carries his unconscious brother into the nursery, telling him that separately, they're only half a person each, so how's about they become whole again? As Belial screams, scenes, Dwayne uses a knitting needle, not a sewing needle, which I got wrong in the idle hand scale count, to stitch Belial back to his side in another blood spurty procedure, one that gives plenty of dolls blood stashes and blood-a-brows. Granny Ruth finds them and screams, and the movie ends with him telling her that it's gonna be alright.
We're together again.
How many individuals were murdered uniquely? Let's find out and get to the numbers. 6 people died in Basket Case 2. 5 of them were dudes, and Susan was the only lady, since they left Marcy alive but disfigured, which doesn't count. With a runtime of 90 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 15 minutes even. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Phil. None of these kills were all-timers or anything, but the makeup on his missing lips is kinda cool. Dull machete for lamest kill, could be any of them really, but let's just say that first one, the guard, was just a neck break, mostly off screen. And that's it! Basket Case 2 came out in 1990 and had the biggest box office opening of any Henenlotter project ever. He would have